You just said the Quran is uncreated and it's not Allah. So now Allah is uncreated and the Quran is uncreated and the Quran is not Allah. That's two uncreated. Isa, you're not listening. The same Sirat Rasulullah that told you Christians became Muslims is the same Sirat Rasulullah that says John's gospel is the gospel that God gave to Jesus.
Today might even be more special simply because we have an arrogant person who have been begging to at least come on the show to try to debate with me and with Sam Shamoun about the oneness of Allah, Tawheed, basically. So we invited him to show up, and let's see if he's man enough to show up, and we'll take it from there.
Yeah, I know. He said he's going to mop the floor with us. So please, I need a good cleansing. So here he goes. Isa, all right, my man.
Hello.
Yeah, now you can hear us?
Can you hear me?
Yeah, unfortunately, yes. So I want you to mop the floor with me. Come on.
Yeah, I'm here.
Okay, so I'm assuming you're Sunni, right? Not Shia?
That's correct.
Okay, so you believe the Quran is Kalam Allah?
Of course.
Can you show me where the Quran says it's Kalam Allah?
Yeah, sure. I can show you that.
Okay, show it to me. Show it to me. That's what I'm asking you. Don't change the subject. Go to your Quran and show me where the Quran says the Quran is Kalam Allah.
Okay, I can't think of the exact verse right now, but
okay.
If you give me a second, hold on 1 second.
Sure. Go ahead. Seems like a nice guy. He's being respectful, so we can respect. So that's good.
Absolutely.
So if I find you this where it says it's Kalam Allah, then what are you going to do?
And if you can't, are you going to say Muhammad is a fake? If you can't find it, I want you to say in front of everyone, I'm going to say Muhammad is a fake. Do you agree? Yeah, I thought so. So just find me the verse and don't put conditions.
Okay, here it is. Do you want it in Arabic or English?
No, because what you're going to quote, chapter 9, verse 12, does not say it's the Quran. So read it for me. Or chapter 9, verse 6. Go ahead, read it for me. So that people see that you didn't meet my challenge. Read it out loud.
Okay, so in Surah Al-Baqarah.
Yeah, read out loud. Read out loud. Surah Al-Baqarah.
So do you want that they will believe? And there was a party from them that used to hear the words of Allah.
Yep.
And then they changed them from what they understood, and they knew.
Now show me where it says those words of Allah are the Quran, because you just proved the Quran has been corrupted. Show me where it says these words are the Quran.
No, that's referring to the Torah.
Okay, but why are you not quoting a verse that now you just admit is not about the Quran when I asked you to show me where the Quran claims to be the word of Allah? I'm still waiting for that verse. Show me in your Quran where it says the Quran is the word of Allah. I'm still waiting.
There's no doubt that the Quran is the word of Allah.
Don't tell me what you think. Prove it from your Quran. Show me the Quran where it says the Quran is the word of Allah. I'm still waiting.
Okay. Surah Al-Baqarah, the second verse. That is the book. That is the book from Allah. Kitab.
Yeah, no, it doesn't say the Quran there.
Yeah,
can I ask you? You're not. See, maybe it's not clear. English, maybe not your mother tongue. I didn't tell you to show me where the Quran is called the book Kitab. I asked you clearly. I asked you, is the Quran Kalam Allah, speech of Allah? You said yes. So I'm asking you, show me where the Quran says it is Kalam Allah, not Kitab, book. And there the word is Dhalika Kitab, not Hada. It's not talking about the Quran.
Exactly. Dhalika, something about that a book that exists. Hada is talking about this book. But I thought the Quran was being revealed in piecemeal. So by the time Surah Al-Baqarah was revealed, this wasn't complete yet.
Yeah, well, no, let him mop the floor with us. And I don't want him to say 2 against 1. So let me just go ahead. Mop the floor with me. Can you show me, again, my challenge is clear. Show me in the Quran where the Quran says the Quran is Kalam Allah. Can you find that verse or no?
Yeah, where it says, until they hear the words of Allah. Not in this.
Oh, here we go again. That's Surah Al-Tawbah, chapter 9, verse 6. Right? Surah Al-Tawbah, chapter 9, verse 6. Is that what you're quoting?
Yes.
Prove to me that the words of Allah there is the Quran.
Okay. See, you don't understand something here.
Yeah, I know.
Okay.
I'm stupid. I'm an ummi. Okay. So
Okay,
let's not get into the
explain it.
personal
Let me
attacks.
explain a let me try to explain a very important principle.
I don't
Okay.
care for your principles. I want you to prove it from the Quran and the Sunnah, right? So can you prove it from the Quran? We're not here for our opinions. You're going to mop the floor with me. Mop the floor using your Quran. So do you admit you don't have a verse where it says the Quran is Kalam Allah? So we can move to the next point of Tawheed.
No, I don't have a verse that says in
Okay.
those exact
All
words
right.
that the
Now
Quran
you're being
is
honest, and I respect
is the
that.
words.
Okay, that's
is the
good.
words
I
of
respect that. I respect it. But now, according to your Sunni tradition, because the Quran is Kalam Allah, that's what you believe, it's one of the sifat, the attributes of Allah, so it's uncreated, right?
It's uncreated. That's correct. It's
Okay.
the words of Allah.
So is the Quran Allah?
Of course not.
Say it again. The Quran is what?
Of course not. Of course
Okay.
not. The Quran is the words of Allah.
Okay,
It's
so
the
good.
speech of Allah.
We agree. So, but wait, I want people, because I want them to see what you said. The Quran is uncreated, but it's not Allah. Do the math for me, because I know you know math. You just said,
Yeah.
well, hold on, let me repeat what you said so you don't change your opinion, because we're recording this. You just said the Quran is uncreated and it's not Allah. So now Allah is uncreated and the Quran is uncreated and the Quran is not Allah. That's two uncreated.
Allah is not created, of course. The Quran is not created.
How many
of
is that?
course. Yes, that's two.
So, but I thought you said Tawheed. You just admit two.
That has nothing to do with Tawheed. I said Allah is not created and the Quran is not created.
And you said two, but Tawheed is one, right?
Tawheed means there's only one God worthy of worship.
And what makes God God if not that he's uncreated?
What makes God God?
If
What
he's not
makes God-
uncreated. Can you
God
have
is that
something
he
other than
is-
God that's uncreated?
No, everything.
Say it, wait, slowly. Slowly. 'Cause-
Everything is created.
Okay, yes, slowly, because you said it, you agreed with me. I want him here because you're speaking too fast. You said, no, everything else is uncreated, only God is uncreated. But you just said the Quran is uncreated. That means the Quran is your ilah, it's God.
The Quran is the speech of Allah, so it's not created.
So now, is the speech of Allah,
anything that is an attribute of Allah is not created.
okay, but is the
It's
speech of Allah separate from Allah or inseparable from Him?
It's his attribute that he can speak.
Is it
that he-
separate
he
from
can
Him or
speak.
inseparable?
Are you saying is it inseparable?
Is it separate from Him or it cannot be separated from Him?
Now you're getting into a very detailed point that only someone who has a lot of knowledge about.
Yeah, but you said you're going to mop the
religion
floor
can
with
speak
me.
to that.
When you said
Yes,
you're going to mop the floor with me,
yes.
that means you're knowledgeable. So now mop the floor with me. I'm going to give you the mop and the bucket. Start mopping me. So is it
Okay.
separate from Allah or is not separate from Allah?
It's his attribute, like his seeing,
That didn't answer my
his
question.
hearing,
Is the
his
attribute
speech. It's
separate
his
from Him?
attribute.
You're not
His
answering
knowledge,
it.
for example.
You're not answering the question. You think you are. I'm going to try it again. Is that attribute separate from God or you can't separate it from Him?
That is a very detailed question. It needs a lot of
No, give
knowledge,
me a detailed
time.
answer. I got all night. Give me a detailed answer. Go ahead.
I can't give you a detailed answer.
You can't?
I can't. I'm not gonna get into that.
All right, good. All right,
Area.
that's fine.
Okay,
All right.
I want to stick to the basics.
Okay, the basics is that the Quran is the speech of Allah. It's uncreated. And this is basics. This is your basic Islamic theology as a Sunni. Okay, but put that aside. Let's now talk about the Ruh. Do you believe the Spirit is Gabriel? Do you believe the Spirit is Gabriel?
Jibril is an angel.
Oh, yeah, but who's the Ruh, the Spirit then? Ruh
Jibril is
al-Qudus.
an angel referred to as the Ruh.
Okay, so
The
you believe that Gabriel is a spirit then, right?
Yes.
Can you show me in the Quran where it says Gabriel is the spirit and the spirit is Gabriel? Show that to me.
I can't.
Say it again.
I can't show you that.
Okay. All right. Now, since you can't show me that, can you open up your Quran now? Go to Surah An-Nahl 16 verse 2. Read that for me.
He descends the angels and the Ruh, the spirit, from his command.
Okay. Now, can I ask you a question?
Yeah.
Gabriel is an angel, right?
Yes.
Here you have the angel separate from the spirit. So if Gabriel is an angel, that means he's part of the angels that come down, but the spirit is separate from them. So how can Gabriel be the spirit?
So because it says the spirit after the angels does not mean that the spirit cannot be an angel.
Prove that an angel can be a spirit. Where does the Quran say angels are spirits?
The Quran doesn't say that the angels are spirits.
Okay, good.
It says right here, it says the angels descend biruh.
By the spirit, right?
Yeah.
Good. So that means the spirit are not the angels, but they descend by the spirit.
Okay, you're not going to interpret the Quran for us.
Well,
we have scholars who interpret it for us.
No,
what's your point? That's
well,
what I
hold
want
on,
to get at.
hold
What's
on.
your point?
You can't tell me you're scholars, because your scholars are not prophets. They're not messengers. They don't receive wahi. I don't care what some scholars says some years later who do not receive revelation. The Quran is supposed to be revelation, and the Sunnah of your prophet is supposed to be revelation, not your scholars. So you can stick with your scholars. I want you to prove it from your Quran and your Sunnah. So you can appeal to any scholar you want, but even the same scholars for the same ayah will give you more than one interpretation. So let's not go there. Let's keep it simple. Okay, so that's one verse where the spirit and the angels are not the same. Now go to chapter 97 of the Quran, verse 4.
Can you read it for me?
Well, if you can make it easier, well, go ahead, Al. Do you want to open up the Quran and read it for him? Because I want you to see it with your own eyes. 97 verse 4. But anyway, I'll have him read it for you then. Al, can you open up the Quran and read 97 verse 4?
So Surah Al-Qadr, 97 verse 4. In Arabic first, تنزل الملائكة والروح فيها بإذن ربهم. In English, in it descend the angels and the spirit by the leave of their Lord with every command.
So you just read the Arabic and English, so you don't say it's mistranslated. Here again, the angels are not the spirit are not angels. They're two separate groups.
Okay, let me tell you what the explanation of that is.
On what basis are you going to tell me? Do you receive wahi?
No, I have a book, though. It's called the Tafsir of Ibn Kathir. Have you heard of it?
Okay, but Ibn Kathir, who comes 700 years after your prophet, who's a student of Ibn Taymiyyah. Was Ibn Kathir, did he have ilham and wahi? Was he inspired?
Was John and Matthew and Luke inspired?
According to your Quran, yes. Don't change the subject. Don't do the tap dance, because you're the
I'm not changing the subject.
You're the
I'm
only
saying,
Muslim that would tell me Ibn Kathir is inspired. So wait, I want to hear you. Say to everyone.
So I can't ask any questions? Is that how this is going to work?
No, hold on. You're changing the subject. You ran. I will let the Quran answer to you that John is inspired, because according to Surah Al-Ma'idah and Sirat Rasulullah, John wrote down the gospel that God gave to Jesus. In fact, you're going to agree with me. Your Quran says in chapter 7, verse 157, that your prophet is prophesied in the gospel that is with them. Where's that prophecy of your prophet in the gospel? What gospel prophesied your prophet?
What gospel prophesied my prophet?
Chapter 7.
Muhammad, you mean?
Chapter 7. I'm now going to change the subject with you because it got too hot for you to handle, because you're going to mop the floor with me. Chapter 7, verse 157. 7:157, it says, they will find in the Torah and the gospel with them a prophecy of the unlettered prophet, the prophet who's ummi, in the Torah and the gospel that's with them, meaning at the time of Muhammad, the Christians had the gospel that had a prophecy of the unlettered, illiterate prophet. What gospel prophesied your prophet? Because you believe that's Muhammad, right?
Yes.
So what gospel did the Christians have at the time of Muhammad that had a prophecy of your prophet?
It's referring to the gospel that was given to Jesus.
But it says it was there at the time of your prophet with the Jews and Christians. That's what 7:157 says.
Yes.
Read it. So what gospel did they have at the time of Muhammad that had this prophecy of Muhammad?
I'm not sure.
So then why are you changing the subject if you can't answer the questions? I was talking about Tawheed, you went to John. So I'm going to answer you if you're not sure. So you want to stay on Tawheed now? You went to John, so I can't even show you what gospel that is because you're not sure.
Well, God, you tell me what gospel, what was it?
According to Sirat Rasulullah by Ibn Ishaq, it's the Gospel of John. Page 653 in the English translation by Alfred Guillaume. Alfred Guillaume translated Sirat Rasulullah by Ibn Ishaq in English, and in not page 653, pages 103 to 104. Pages 103 to 104, there Ibn Ishaq says that John wrote down the gospel that God gave to Jesus for the followers of the gospel, in which there's a description of your prophet. And there he quotes John chapter 15, verses 23 to 16, verse 1. And Ibn Ishaq says that's the gospel that God gave to Jesus. We can hear
Okay, if we were to assume that that's the case, that it was the Gospel of John, how can you be so sure that it's the same Gospel of John that you have in your possession today?
I know that because Ibn Ishaq quotes John 15, 23, 16 to 1, and it's identical to what I have today. And secondly, there are copies of John before the time of your prophet that are identical to what I have now. So when did the change take place?
I don't know. I don't know what they had back then versus what they have now.
So then let's keep it simple. Let's go to Tawheed.
What I do know, listen to me talk for a second.
Well, go ahead.
What I do know is that there were many Christians like Suhaib Rumi, like the Nietzsches of Ethiopia, who were Christian and they became Muslim.
And how do you know that?
Because it's in the biography of the Rasulullah. And
the one I just read for you that said that John wrote down the gospel of Jesus?
I'm not disputing that. What I'm saying is there were Christians who became Muslims, and there are Christians who came.
You're not hearing yourself. So you admit John's gospel is the gospel of Jesus then?
Like I said, the gospel refers to the gospel given to Jesus.
Okay, now, but the biography that you quoted,
everything in John is
Isa,
not.
You're not listening. The gospel that I told you is the gospel of Jesus, John wrote, comes from the biography that you just appealed to prove that Christians became Muslims. The same Sirat Rasulullah that told you Christians became Muslims is the same Sirat Rasulullah that says John's gospel is the gospel that God gave to Jesus.
Okay, I'm not disputing that.
So you admit John's gospel is the gospel of Jesus?
But I'm not saying that it's 100% accurate, though.
Ibn Ishaq did not say it's not 100% accurate. Don't spin it.
He didn't say it was either.
No, he said it's the gospel that God gave to Jesus.
Okay, but that's what he said. But what I'm telling you is we don't know that that's 100% accurate because it's not even in the original language.
Because we have copies.
Is it in Hebrew?
There we go. We have copies of John before, during, and after Muhammad that are identical to what we read today.
Is it in Hebrew? That's my question.
Who said John wrote in Hebrew? Show me where it says he wrote in Hebrew.
Jesus spoke in Hebrew.
So wait, hold on. So what language does Jesus speak in your Quran?
Jesus spoke in Hebrew.
In your Quran, what language is he speaking?
I don't understand the question.
Doesn't your Quran quote Jesus and the disciples?
Yes.
What language does the Quran have them speaking?
Arabic.
But Jesus didn't speak Arabic. Jesus did not speak Arabic.
I understand that, but those are the words of Allah telling us what Jesus said.
Stop begging the question. We don't believe Allah revealed any book because we don't believe Allah is God. You just destroyed your argument because you just said Jesus spoke Hebrew, therefore it should be in Hebrew. But when your Quran quotes Jesus in Arabic, a language he didn't speak, now it's okay because Allah revealed it.
If I'm telling a story, now my language is English, and someone else spoke a different language, I'm going to tell it in English.
So then change your argument. John is writing to Greeks in Greek.
Well, so change your argument. You do not have the original gospel of Jesus that's in Hebrew. That's my point.
My friend, you don't need the original gospel of Jesus because Jesus didn't write down anything. He preached and lived the gospel, and his followers wrote it down. That's what Ibn Ishaq said. You want me to read Ibn Ishaq again?
Down either. But his companions wrote down what he said in Arabic.
Okay, but you're not listening. Isa, stop going in 1,000 directions. Refocus. Ibn Ishaq said John wrote down the gospel of Jesus, and what John wrote was in Greek, not Hebrew. Okay, now let's come back to Tawheed.